minus 20%. No droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no sequel trilogy fans, no Debbie Downers, negative, black pills, you are not allowed here. Interesting little idea. And article that came to mind. A lot of people are telling me they're leaving the big channels. They don't want to hear it anymore. Fine. We've got a Emmett Kelly channel running around saying that they're even giving up on the OT. Let me explain how fucking immature that is. Okay? And I don't give me that if they're just gonna file a sequel today without thinking, without pondering what really is going on. Let me tell you something. Most of the big channels don't actually talk to anybody in the business. There's a shock. Only Doomcock does anymore, and Midnight's Edge. That's it. And those who say they do and still run with that shit are liars. Okay? I don't care if you get free tickets to a premiere. I really don't. I got free tickets to see Phantom of the Opera at the Ziegfeld Theater. It wasn't like I was sitting in on a strategy meeting. All right? Here's what's going on. When I looked at last week's little blurb about The Last Jedi posted on StarWars.com by Lucasfilm's a resident cat lady. I was like, and no, she's not on the speed dial. She doesn't know where they're going. She just posted that to piss you off. Day before Boba Fett comes out, fine. Timing. YouTube. Ugh! Story group laughing at you. Okay? Me, I'm going, wow, it's really interesting that just came out the day before the Boba Fett thing when it seemed pretty obvious that Han Solo was going to show up. Gee, maybe they're trying to pull the rug out from under people. You think? Wait. On the internet nowadays, nobody thinks. All right? The internet is so hilarious to me because basically, if you have any more than 20,000 followers with a big reach, you could say the sky is burning when it's not. And everybody will go with it. Okay? You could get some piece of propaganda like the Screen Rant story. They're going to make a 3-movie trilogy about Rey and the Jedi Academy. Really? They are? Really? Does Bob Chapek know that? Does Susan Arnold know that? Does Alan Bergman know that? Does Jon Favreau know that? No. Why? Because they're not. Screen Rant is a shill site, and they work as hard as they can for Kathleen Kennedy's story group. All right? And they're bullshit. I'm Pablo Hidalgo trying to walk back without saying it, that the rumors weren't true. What? Do you believe him? You might as well believe Joseph Goebbels or Lavrenti Beria, okay? You don't know who those are? Please use Google. It's your friend here, all right? Here's what's going on. After reading one of the things on Cameron Pasha's Patreon and seeing one of the other members of that post something very intelligent, I had to run with it because I've been talking about it, but not in this way. In war, ever since Erg killed Thurg with a rock, right? There's been something called psyops, okay? For instance, World War II. You had Berlin Betty, who would go on the radio telling the GIs their girlfriends and wives are screwing other men, trying to undermine the morale. You had Tokyo Rose doing the same thing, okay? Marlene Dietrich talking to the German people for the OSS and singing Lily Marlene, which was an OSS psyop. It's not that any of what they were saying was true, but it was made to undermine support for the war, to put doubts in the GI's minds, to put doubts in the German Wehrmacht's minds, okay? To make them want to give up, to take away their motivation. Well, guess what, YouTube? Why do I don't have a master's degree. I am just basically now a housewife. Why do I see this and none of you do? Why? Hey, Carlos. Obviously, Baver put that on there to undermine any entrance a Han Solo might have. Now, let's talk about the Han Solo thing. They put it out there on YouTube. That is not a lie. Okay, I have the screenshots. So anybody trying to undermine me going, oh, where's your precious hand? Fuck off, first off. Okay? Go suck whatever. All right? You're not wanted here. You brave internet warrior. Second of all, while I liked the finale, it wasn't up to par. For what? Hey, Marty, for what that entrance needed. Okay, we're talking about one of the most iconic characters in film history. Right up there with Luke. Right up there. Okay? All right? They didn't put it on there because it wasn't good enough. Fine. I can, were we wrong? Were we wrong? Well, here's the deal. Doomcock reported that there was drama behind the scenes of the Book of Boba Fett. We have evidence of it with KK's initials being painted on a hut, on a homesteader farmer's house. Okay? Thanks, Misha. And we've got evidence that COVID restrictions hurt it. Okay? We've got evidence that the script, which was based off the movie script that they had, wasn't up to snuff. All right, I want to ask you guys a question. Why on earth, if you know all that, would you go on, then say, everything sucks, it's all terrible, and I demand blah, 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 and then decide that you might be giving up on Star Wars? What would cause a 180? What? It's intellectually dishonest, okay? Ha ha ha, that's funny, Maze. All right? We know all that. We saw it on the screen. It doesn't change anything, all right? What did in people's minds was that little blurb that the red-haired ginger cat lady put up there, and then we get the Screen Rant thing. There is something called Scorched Earth. Do you know what that is? In warfare, a withdrawing army sets fire to everything that the advancing army can use. Food supplies, housing, ammunition, anything that can be used for that the advancing army can use. Okay, fine. So what I see when I saw that is a scorched earth, If I can't have it, no one can. That attitude. That was a quote from the movie Lady Hawk, starring the mighty Rutger Hauer, R.I.P., God rest his soul, and Michelle Pfeiffer. When Isabeau's got her back to the bishop, he picks up his staff. It's got a pike at the end, a spear point, not a pike. You know what I mean? And he advances on her saying, and no one shall. Navarre takes his sword, picks up his father's sword and throws it at him and pins him to his chair. Okay? That's what we've got going on here. Now, what else did that little blurb do? And how are they going about Scorched Earth? By making it look like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, A, aren't up to fixing what was broken, and B, aren't going to give the fans what they want. So they put this shit out there. And blah, 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 and blah, 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 who knows better, ran with it. All right? You can't go to any chat without seeing black pills popping up like cancer exploding in a body. You're letting those people tell you what to think. And they are undermining the effort to fix it. You don't think Disney sees this? You don't think Jon Favreau's aware of this? You're undermining his efforts. All right? I mean, I'm sorry, but Emmett Kelly YouTube has never been a place for people to actually learn anything about what's going on. None of these channels are. Yeah, and that's exactly what the Russians did when they retreated in Russia. Oh, Shogun Orta, he basically had to use a script written by Kennedy's people, and he had to overwrite it. But let's talk about that. How much time do you think they actually gave him to fix it? Not a lot. Okay, let's go more so we can undermine everything more, and then let's blame him too. All right, because damn it, we can't have good Star Wars. So let's be what the story group wants us to be. A weapon to destroy it. Okay? Think! All right? I am sick of this shit. I'm up to here with it. I am about ready this close to leaving YouTube. That's how close I am. Because I can't enjoy anything anymore. Friends of mine who know better fell for this bottomless pile of garbage. Hook, line, and sinker. People who know better. All right? I don't have a master's degree. I'm married to a guy who has 2. You want to go see all the books we have in our library? Anybody out there reading Machiavelli, Sun Tzu, Clausewitz? No? Well, you should have, because you're watching that shit blooming. Okay? It's happening now. You don't think that there's something happening behind the scenes with Disney and Lucasfilm? You don't think the reason why these assholes in the story group put that shit out there? I know why. I know why. Because they're about ready to get the boot. Okay? And they're scrambling. Again, if we can't have it, nobody can. And we're going to destroy everything around us as we're kicked out the door. All right? And we're going to make those idiots, those morons, run with it like it's real. Okay? That's what they're doing. When I saw the Screen Rant article, it's like, the SJWs at Lucasfilm and their ancillaries, I've talked about this before, really don't have much to do. I mean, God help them when the shit hits the fan. Okay? They're going to be the first ones to end up being eaten by the rest of the population. Because they have no instincts for survival. Okay? They really, really don't. All they do is sit on the internet and plot ways to fuck with everybody. And we have big YouTubers that enjoy being fucked with, that believe anything that comes out, that run with it, that don't sit back and go, yeah, Disney had a pretty good earnings call. And while the Book of Boba Fett wasn't great, it wasn't woke, which is what the fans kind of wanted. And, you know, Jon has been stretched thin with all this shit we've been giving him to do. And, you know, oh, I know, Carlos. I know. They know what the consequences are. No Star Wars. Burn it to the ground as they walk out the door. That's exactly what Kennedy's people want. Okay? All right? She couldn't use it for her little, you know, maggoty, you know, soapbox. All right. Burn it to the ground. That's exactly what they're doing. Okay? It's called a PSYOPs. CIA used it in Vietnam. We have army units dedicated to doing it. And what they do is they just put bullshit out there that's not true. You know? And they put it out there to undermine confidence. They did it. They did it during Desert Storm, if you remember. All right? They did it during Desert Storm. They did it during Operation Iraqi Freedom. They did it during Enduring Freedom. Okay? Now, all right, I'll tell you what the biggest PSYOP is right now. The COVID bullshit. Let me explain. If you don't want a vaccine that doesn't work and might actually harm your health, you're crazy, you're dangerous, and should be put in a cage. That's from our government. And they've got at least a quarter of the country believing that. That's called a PSYOP. They know that's not true. They know you're just thinking for yourself. Okay, that's a PSYOP. The shutdowns, we're all a PSYOP. Okay, mask mandates are a PSYOP. Everybody knows the masks don't work. Even the people that want the mandates know the masks don't work. Okay, the vaccine doesn't work. Aggressively reacting, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Maybe be quiet and let me explain what's going on. Okay? Well, here's another PSYOP. Before D-Day, they gave General Patton an entire fake army with inflatable tanks, inflatable landing craft, etc., etc., etc. And the Germans bought it hook, line, and sinker. They also made sure that the Germans thought the landing would be at another place. Okay? And the Germans bought that hook, line, and sinker. You know, and that's, I don't really think that Chapek was frustrated with Mando Season 2. I don't know where you got that. Mando Season 2 was great. You know, Rodriguez actually did a good job, but he had Favreau there 100% of the time. He didn't with the Book of Boba Fett. Jon was traveling all over the place. He couldn't be there, you know, overhead watching. And Dave really, I mean, Dave wasn't really there either. And what they had was an old script from a movie that really didn't have its chance to be aired out. But again, if you look at it in the context of what we're talking about, well, Euler Greg, here's the deal. When you've got, and you know who I'm talking about, those big channels. One, even the OT sucks anymore. They can't even do that. Fishy, fishy in the brook. You've got other ones telling people Star Wars is dead. And people believing it. That's a PSYOP that's designed to hurt the fandom, to keep us divided and angry and agitated, and to hurt Favreau and Filoni. Okay? And guess what? Thank you, YouTube, you know, kings of the bullshit. You guys did this. You guys allowed yourselves to be used because you're not smart enough to see what's going on. Okay? It's literally mind-blowing to me how bad this has gotten. Okay? I watch what's going on with absolute disgust anymore. All right? There are people out there who are not well-read enough and experienced enough to be able to talk about this stuff. They owe you fans better than this. They owe you guys objectivity, okay? And I know they'll say we do, they'll sit there and say, well, we give the fans the best things. No, you don't. You don't. You gatekeep. You don't allow people with with a different opinion to come on. We saw what happened when I went on that one place. And Craig, okay? We saw that. All right? Midnight's Edge has good discussions. All right? That's it anymore. Yeah, and we're over the target. Look, the bulb burns brightest at the very end. Just like when a supernova goes off, it's the brightest thing you'll see in the galaxy, and then it goes poof, gone. Okay? When Betelgeuse goes off, we'll be able to see it night and day. Whenever that happens. 1,000 years from now, 20 years from now, it doesn't matter. Okay? Aggressively relaxing. Are you here to troll? The masks don't work. Even your super duper perfect mask, they don't work. All right? Neither does the vaccine. Prince Charles got his second bout of COVID. Okay? He got the vaccine and was boosted. I know many people who've been vaccinated and boosted who've gotten COVID. Okay? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And if you believe that, you're a sheep. Go sit out in the pasture waiting for the sheepdog. Okay? All right? I don't want nothing to do with you. If you can't think for yourself and go, I don't really see how that's working, and you're too chicken shit to say it out loud, don't say anything. Okay? All right? You're hurting yourself too, by the way. All right? This is what's going on. Everything last week that was dropped before the episode aired was a psyop to take attention away from the entrance of Han Solo, who didn't show up. Kennedy does a great... All right, Maze, can you do something about this person? Kennedy does a great job. What the fuck are you talking... Where has she done a great job? Okay? Where? You find me one person. All right? My dog, give him time, can write a better story than that fat cunt, Claudia Gray. Okay? My horse could come up with more a romantic story that would be normal, than anybody at Lucas in the story fucking group. The cunt factory, as we like to call it here. All right? I am done with this shit. Okay? I am done with the trolls. I am done with the bullshit. I am done with people lying about A, who they are, B, why they're even here, and C, thinking they're big, tough people going on somebody's channel or going on Twitter beating up on somebody. Really? My husband is a Bronze Star recipient. My dad was in B-24 Liberators during World War II, having the Germans shoot at him, dropping bombs on them. That's 10 men to a ship. One of those ships goes down, that's 10 men lost. Okay? When you got ME-109s and FW-190s coming within 2 feet of your face, that kind of, and you stand there and take it, that kind of makes you a little more braver than some jackass fucking showing up on somebody's channel, trolling like a pussy, a coward. Because they'd never say any of that to your face. They never would. Because they know what the next thing would be. They'd be melted like a nuclear bomb just went off on their heads. Okay? My uncle's landed at Normandy. Landing ramp goes down, the first guys are dead. You think about that. Are you brave enough to do that, Internet Rump Ranger? My other uncle was at Guadalcanal. I don't know where I heard that or where you heard that, Misha, but I think that's true. Again, that doesn't make Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni bad people. Okay? And that doesn't give anybody the right to write off all of Star Wars over it, like a pussy. And then sit there and make the big assumption, well, I fought for it, but no. No. We planted the flag on the hill. We defend that fucking flag. Okay? Again, what part of this is war doesn't anybody understand? This shit was a psyop. From the moment the red-haired cat lady dumped that shit on StarWars.com, and everybody lost their minds. Oh, that's awesome, Euler Greg. That's really awesome. No, I'm here. I'm here. You know, and now we've got this other thing on Screen Rant. On YouTube, doing Kennedy's job for her. All these people that say they hate her, and yet they run screaming to the internet to scream, Star Wars is dead, we're getting a Rey trilogy. Bob Chapek is saying, if you're coming on here and just to not even listen, you can go now. Okay, I just no. I am done. Okay, I really am. I mean, can't have an intelligent conversation with that kind of shit going around. I don't even know what that was about. It definitely wasn't about Star Wars. Definitely wasn't about what's going on. This is a psyop. This is a fucking psyop. There's something going on that we're not seeing yet. And the idea that you can change your mind. Screen Rant is all right. What Hidalgo and the Story Group has done is they cultivated relationships, all right? Making StarWars.net with the Star Wars fan community resident pedophile, Jason Ward, the toxic Steele Saunders, Hello Greedo, and Star Wars Explained, which is just, I mean, that thing should just be removed. Hey, Jay. How you doing, man? And what is going on here, we're seeing is, and of course, they have these people, you know, have relationships with them at Lucasfilm. They've also got relationships with, you know, dipshits like Brian Young, who's another questionably person with weird relationships with little girls. Geek Girl Diva, Screen Rant, and other publications, okay? Yeah, I would say I would say probably. They probably didn't want it. But again, I'm going to say this, Disney needed content. Now, let's go back. And Doomcock, if you're watching this, listen to me. Listen to everything I've been saying. Okay? Doesn't matter who they're owned by. All right? The editors have relationships with people like Hidalgo, etc., etc., and they're going to put that out there. It's a cabal. The people at Lucasfilm created this little community, and they bombard people with lies, which is what they're doing. Okay, why? Go back in the timeline and understand Star Wars, when they had, a Disney Plus Day. All right? No Star Wars, except for that little blurb by Kenobi. Nothing for Boba Fett. So, the fact that Jon and Dave may have had this shit pushed on them makes a lot of sense to me. I wouldn't have made it. I would have said, I don't want to do this. All right? But the reason probably why is because Disney Plus needed content. Now, go to Valiant Renegade's video last night. Disney is taking all of the Marvel stuff for Disney Plus. They're probably going to do a 2-tier thing. And I'll tell you, the reason simply is more adults, as many adults or more adults, watch certain franchises than kids. And I would say Star Wars is one of them. Okay? I mean, the reason why episodes 5 and 6 were more well received wasn't that it was because of Mando. It's because it was made for the audience. You see little kids. Well, look, they're going to have to sort all that stuff out, sci-fi. All right, they're going to have to sort all that stuff out. But one of these days, there's going to be a karmic blowback. They're going to wake up sooner rather than later and find out their big enemies that are never going away in their minds are gone. Okay? They're not there anymore. And there might be chafe that has to be, playing whack-a-mole with a bunch of pissed off SJWs. But other than that, okay, look, when the board of directors, and this is Doomcock saying this, want KK out, it's going to happen. Again, people know better. They know better. They're smarter than this. They're allowing themselves to be used. Now, maybe this is an act. I don't know. Because I thought maybe there's something going on we're not being told. And, the next generation. And trying to make, what you could, kids watch Clone Wars. All right? Kids watched Rebels. And that was some dark shit going down. Okay? I didn't like Rebels because it just, Kanan Jarrus and Ezra should have been combined into one character. And even watching my favorite episodes, Wolves in a Door and World Between Worlds, when Ezra says to Ahsoka, I really want to talk to my mom and dad. That's almost as bad as I Hate Sand. Or we went back to what we were best at. Do you know shitty writing? That's shitty writing, okay? And there you go, all right? And that was a good episode because it gives you an out from this garbage, okay? And they know it. Okay, Mazers, go for it. All right. Well, that's what they're hoping for. That's what they want. But again, if you've got the accounting spreadsheet, how much we spent publishing those novels and what we didn't get back. I mean, when you've got people basically saying the reason why the first iteration of the High Republic broke a record, ooh, is because retail companies like Target, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, Amazon had to buy 50 or more copies. Scholastic, which now they're basically aiming at because no one wants to read that shit. Okay? No one wants it. All right? They're looking at it going, no, we're not doing that. And no. First off, these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And Disney, I mean, the people at Disney, Alan Bergman, Chapek, Arnold, they all know the fans are the ones that decide what they want. Well, here's the deal. The big YouTube channels aren't being fair-minded. They're not being fair. They might think they are. But when you got people like Bozo the Clown over there, and I'm not talking about other big channels, I'm talking about Bozo the Fish. I don't want to even talk about the JK anymore. Ugh. How fucking immature is that, first off? And they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. All right? They would never, ever dare listen to somebody like me who's going. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be very blunt. I've never seen anybody who's knee-deep in comic books, except for one or two people, who understand what the politics of this are. Yeah, you're right, Carlos. You know, and I sit here going, oh, I'm on target. You know I am. But what I want is for the community to understand that they're doing Kennedy's job for her. And all that Screen Rant article was another psyop by the story group. And if you, as a YouTuber, can't be honest enough to say maybe that's what it is, you know, I mean, you go to listen to what Cameron has to say, Mike the Mexican Iron Man, Valiant Renegade, me, and we're like, that's not true. They can't do that. They're not going to spend the money on that. And you can't deal with the fact that we're saying something opposite, then you have a problem. It's your problem. All right, and then why is it the problem? If you can't see that was a psyop, and you as a YouTuber are falling for it, I don't know what to say. Maybe you should spend 9 months at the Army War College studying that. Okay? Clausewitz said, war is politics by other means. Politics is war by other means. Okay? That's all it is. Well, I don't really think that Rey's going to come in any way, shape, or form. Jon Favreau has said he's bringing the EU into it, you know, and because that's where the popularity is. No one wants Rey. I mean, again, stop bringing her up. When you walk in to an Ollie's and see stacks of her figures that were Walmart exclusives during the Force Awakens, you have a problem with that character, okay? And they can't sell it at Ollie's. You have a problem with that character, okay? I don't want it. I melted it. I took it out to the fire pit. All right. Well, yeah, and that's was again, like I said, Screen Rant is connected to the story group. This is the relationship. Again, they're ancillaries, and ancillary works on behalf of the entity. You know what I'm saying? It's like a bounty hunter. It's like when the Navy SEALs or Delta go into a place, they don't go in there by themselves without any backup, without any allies on the ground. They have people that are telling them things. They have fellow supporters on the ground there. For instance, before D-Day, the OSS dropped intelligence officers behind the lines to hook up with, that's awesome, to hook up with the French resistance, to blow up bridges, to blow up railroad tracks, to harass the German army, the Panzers. And here's the deal. They basically made it a lot easier for the United States, Great Britain, Canada, the Free French forces under de Gaulle, and others to land at Normandy that day. Okay? That's what an ancillary is. Okay? They do many things. They also drop lies out there on the internet, and it's a lot easier to do it now than it ever has been before. Again, PsyOps, Berlin Betty, Tokyo Rose. Okay? We did PsyOps on Saddam's people in Desert Storm. I mean, the Air Force would drop leaflets on the Air Force dropped leaflets on brigades of Iraqi soldiers who basically, when we invaded Iraq, gave up. And I mean, it was the guys in the 1st Armored Division, and look, and you see thousands of guys with their arms up, marching towards them saying, we surrender. And that's the fact. But we got this Ray thing going on, and name the big YouTube channel. And they're running with it because they're basically the Iraqi soldiers. Okay? Now, there was truth behind those pamphlets that they were going to get wiped off the face of the earth. And when you look at what happened in Kuwait, it was ugly. I mean, it was ugly. Okay? I mean, that was, I think, the military that Reagan built its finest hour. Okay? Do not fuck with the U.S. That was it. All right? George Bush came in and then decimated it. Closed down military bases. Cut back on units. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay? All in the name of trying to balance the budget. They all say they want to balance the budget. You know how you balance the budget? Spend this on domestic spending. Nothing on education. That should go to the states. Only on interstate infrastructure and airports, things like that, and that's it. Okay, and maybe when there's a disaster. Yeah, well, they did a lot of stuff. They really, really did. My husband's got unbelievable stories about what happened when he was a young lieutenant out there in the desert. But this is what is going on here. These YouTube channels actually believe this shit, okay? And it's a psyop. Why are they doing this? And I'm going to tell you something. Favreau and Filoni know what's going on. They have to. There are people in at Disney, I know, that watch this channel. All right? Every time I go live, somebody shows up, they don't leave a like, and they sit there and watch. Now, maybe it's a spy for one of the big YouTube channels. Okay, maybe it's one of the EU Nazis. I don't know. You know? You know, you guys, please hit the likes. Please, please, please. You know, I don't know. But somebody does sit here and watch this. Okay. Maybe it's one of the shills, or maybe even it's somebody from the story group, knowing that I've got their number. Look, they want people like me to shut up. All right? There's a reason why Joe Rogan is target number one right now, is because he's telling the truth. Okay? There's a reason why Cameron got banned from Twitter, because he told him what was coming. Okay? There's a reason why they went after me on Twitter, because I knew what they were doing. I could tell you that in a heartbeat. And it doesn't take a practiced political eye like mine. Just take someone to go, you know, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at what's really going on. And yeah, and you're right. And I really think, here's what I want you guys to do, is I want you to go and basically call people off the ledge. And I'm not talking about the nerd channel. I'm not talking about the bearded Coke bottle glasses guy. I'm not talking about the ginger. I am not talking about the you know, the bozo channel. Okay? There's one, though, who needs to be reminded. You said this was going to happen when Boba Fett, at the finale. You said it. There's no shame in being wrong about Solo. That show wasn't good enough for him to be in. Okay? That show wasn't epic enough, because he is an epic character, and you guys know, everybody knows that. Okay? The story group knows that. Okay? And look, I'm gonna make a prediction right now. Within 6 to 9 months, maybe sooner, Kennedy will announce her resignation, and she'll be gone. Is Pablo still there? He may or may not be. He's a weasel, we don't know. All right? But I'll tell you one thing. Matt Martin used to be in San Francisco. Now he's in LA. You guys do the math on that one. Okay? You don't think there's something going on? Look, these people that are causing so much trouble and using their media contacts, ancillaries, to cause trouble in the fandom, they've been left out in the cold. Okay? Now, there is some intelligence and wisdom to keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. But in this regard, no. They have to be put out, surrounded by barbed wire in a bubble to keep their mouth shut. And the reason why is because their presence alone drives fans away. Okay, just in Ireland. If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. And nobody bought her book. Nobody. All right. Scholastic ended up buying a ton of them they can't sell. Kids aren't reading that shit. She can sit there and say she was number 4 on Barnes & Noble. You know? Sorry. You know? Then we got the sexually obsessed and repressed Claudia Gray. Again, wrap your mind around, if you know any gay men, a celibate gay man. It happens. But why is that a character trait? And why are little kids exposed to that shit. I have gay friends wondering that out loud. You know, it's like, but do you want her actually writing actual Star Wars stuff? She doesn't know anything about Star Wars. You know, the question for all these people is, where's the mythology? Where's the lore? Where's the respect for the past? You know, Star Wars isn't something you can just fashion into whatever you need, depending on the circumstances and current events. If you want to write current events, do All the President's Men. Do Silkwood. Do, well, here's one for you, for all the Fauci fans. The Dallas Buyers Club, okay? He ran NIH when they basically were denying life-saving drugs to AIDS patients, okay? I want you to think about that and now look what's going on now, okay? This guy's a criminal. He really is. But do that. Don't use Star Wars. Relevancy has a time limit. And that is done. You can see Disney when they just pulled back that prequel to Beauty and the Beast about, you know, chasing, you know, worrying about LeFou's sexuality. It's like, this is supposed to be Beauty and the Beast, not, you know, I mean, and then it got canceled. They were halfway through filming it, and Chad Beck went, Bert, all right? What do you think is going to happen to The Acolyte? No, they wouldn't. The only person listed as a producer, as a writer, and showrunner is Leslie Forehead. That girl she decided to yell to that she was going to be the lead in it. And then the art director, who funnily enough, is the art director for The Last Jedi. Okay? And there's nothing there. Here's another thing. I got this from a friend of mine who is in art departments. I mean, he did GoldenEye. He actually worked on Cowboys and Aliens. Okay? Andor Andor season 2 is filming in London. No Acolyte. There's nothing else scheduled. Ahsoka picks up when Mando season 3 wraps, which it'll wrap in March. Ahsoka starts up in April. No other Star Wars projects. No other Star Wars projects. No, I haven't. But here we are. They're going to make a trilogy of Rey. Where are you getting that? All right. And also, we also have the problem of the memory of a goldfish. No franchise films are in development right now. Rogue Squadron is done. Nothing. Nothing. Okay? But here we are. This is how dumb the fan community has gotten because of YouTube. Okay? My suggestion to you guys is this. If you're sick of the black pills not giving you the information you need, which is what I just did, okay, I just got a message about something about it. As I'm talking to you guys, I just got a message from my contact in London, who's probably watching this. Hi! You know, if you guys deserve better from you-know-who. Trust me, at least one YouTuber that's way bigger than me, that I'm friends with, knows that. And there are 2 other YouTubers that know that too. okay? I have a responsibility not to be a freak anymore, okay? Calm the fuck down. Chillax. There's no way Disney's okaying a trilogy for Rey. There's just, I mean, there are probably people in Lucasfilm that want it, which is why they showed up on screen, right? But they're never going to do it. And, all right, you know what it is? It's coming to Midnight's Edge when Cameron's on. It's going and listening to Valiant Renegade. All right, it's coming here and me saying this is happening and this is happening and this is what I expect happens. It's me yelling at a troll. All right, when they come on here, trying to upturn the apple cart because they're big internet tough guys. All right, it's me saying they're not going to piss away, as Sci-Fi Universe said, another $10 billion. Yeah, the mob, look, the mob doesn't think, it reacts. And this is the problem with the YouTubers. They're reacting. And there's one that knows better. You can't sit there and say, I've heard there are problems on the set of the Book of Boba Fett, and then turn around and after seeing it saying, Star Wars is dead, I demand. What the hell happened? Okay? In a day. Nothing. Every one of these people, if they sit back and look at that Screen Rant article, or look at that little blurb the red-haired cat lady put out there on StarWars.com. If they sat back and said, they're not going to do this, if they'd actually let people, and I'm talking about, and all these other people with opposite views on there, if they'd open their little narrow minds, but they don't want to. And look, I know some things about this that I'm not going to say, but if you knew what I knew, you'd understand why they don't want it to happen. And I think the story group knows it. I think the story group sees them for what they are. When you're looking at Cad Bane mouthing off to Boba Fett, that's Boba Fett mouthing off to Boba Fett. Okay? Look, the bad guy in some instances, and the villain, not the antagonist, which, when you think about it, even Vader really wasn't a villain, he was an antagonist. The villain is literally a reflection of the good guy. Like Han Solo and Boba Fett facing off at each other. The antagonist is a reflection of the protagonist in that instance. All right? Kind of come from the same underworld place. Han is a badass, and that's not just me saying that, that's Harrison Ford saying that. He's probably killed people in cold blood. He's done some things that are not kosher. Lied about some things. Smuggled contraband. Made deals and reneged on them because they didn't really. Hi, Kojak. Koji's here. Do you guys want to see him? Come here, buddy. Come here. So, here we go. Hi, Kojak. Koji. Say hi. There he is, a good boy. All right, there's the boy. Han Solo came from a place that, it was rough. In order to survive, the man had to be rough. The sooner it happens, the better, the quicker. And I think part of the reason why we had this uptick in, yep, I wish I could have called him Chewy, but Rudy said no. You guys heard my husband yesterday when I was talking to you, and all of a sudden you hear a person go, he's a bad dog. That's my husband. You know, the quicker KK's gone, the better. And I really don't think that she's going to be there as long, maybe not even as long as 6 months. I had a long conversation with a friend, and we talked about this, and it is pretty obvious. And, you know, look, and it does, but I think what they have to do is have a heart-to-heart talk and just say, yes, you did. Hey, Koji, come here. Come. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Here he is. Here, Maze. Come here, bud. Say hi to Maze. Say hi to Maze, huh? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Here he is. All right, there you guys go. But in reality, I really think that Arnold would be better off getting her gone quick. And I really think that if the board wants her gone, I really think that even KK doesn't have a choice. All right? I have an idea. He's a good boy. I tell you about a little bit about owning a shepherd. They follow you everywhere, and even into the bathroom, literally. All right, and into the shower. We have a walk-in shower where the shower heads are way in the back. There's a lovely river stone tile on the floor. Turn around and look while I'm washing my hair, and there he is sitting there watching me. He does not let me out of his sight for any reason. And if I leave and Rudy's home, this thing howls for me to come home because I am the person that feeds him. I am, you know, his person. And he loves my husband, but I am the person. I am his human. He's laying right here now. He's a good boy. But, you know, I think if the board doesn't want Kennedy around, then the Kennedy's gone. It's just a matter of time. And I think part of the reason why we've seen such a bloom of bullshit from the story group and their ancillaries is because that time's coming. There's something going on here. Well, he's a Shiloh Shepherd, okay, which is mostly German Shepherd, but the breed has Malamute and Czechoslovakian Wolfdog in it. And they're bigger than German Shepherds, and they have straight backs. They also don't have the temperament issues, the aggression issues. And they're basically giant versions, furry versions of golden retrievers. He's a love bug. He really is a love bug. Yeah. You guys gotta see the steak I bought for me and Rudy to share tonight. It's that thick. Well, they come in different colors. They have white ones. They have sables, I need to get a sable. And they have black ones and bicolored ones. And he's bicolored. He's black and silver. Aren't you? He looks just like his parents. He looks just like his dad. And I've never met his dad. I met his mom. And Kojak is very much like his mother. She's a card. But again, I'll go back. I got to go to the store to finish getting stuff for dinner for tonight. The problem, you guys, is simply this. We have to stand tall here. you know, and, but all right, what did he say? He doesn't want it now? I really don't think Lucasfilm needs a direct president. I think what they need, excuse me, is him to be there, overlord, and Dave Filoni to basically, but this is, I don't know, what did they say? I'm not going to go off until, I really can't imagine anybody else being president of Lucasfilm. Yeah, see, he does want to be president of Lucas. See, anyway, I'm right. I guarantee you, we're going to find this out. Jon Favreau is going to be president of Lucasfilm. Well, if he does take it, this would be the greatest thing ever. Okay, now again, I'm looking at Doomcock, and you guys need to slow your roll. Don't be emotional. Stop it. Again, the fans deserve better from all of us. Okay? This is the kind of conversation we should be having. Not the, there were the dead. There were the dead. There were the dead. What does that accomplish? Nothing. Nothing. Yes, and you're right. Think about it this way. When you look at the OT, Luke just wanted to go on an adventure. He didn't want to be a great man. Han was like, oh, hell no. And then there you go. Well, Lord of the Rings, look, here's the deal. The only reason why, first, it's happening is friends of JJ got the gig. They don't have any credits to their names. Everything they have is in development. You know what that means? It's sitting on your desk gathering dust. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's it. Okay. It's very interesting to me. Okay. But they're friends of J.J. Abrams, and it's Bad Robot, so there you go. Okay. All right. And my friend Lee was just aghast, and I said, how they got the role, that job, right? FOJJ, Friends of JJ. And he was like, oh, fuck. And J.J. Abrams is as useless as tits on a bowl. Okay? That little fucker is as useless as tits on a bowl. But look, I gotta go. It's 11:04. I'd like to get back here around 12:30. Well, if they do Revan, if Jon takes it, but if we just have to watch. Okay? Well, here's the deal. I'm gonna leave you guys with this about that. Jeff Bezos is what, the second wealthiest man in the world? And he doesn't care if he loses money on a political venture, which is what this is. He's the one that's wokeified everything, and it comes from his office. He doesn't give a shit if he loses $1 billion. He doesn't care. Doesn't care. Okay? Meanwhile, or Bane, I'm just putting that out there, Darth Bane trilogy. Meanwhile, the merger between between Discovery and was it Comcast, Warner Brothers Comcast, was given the go-ahead by the Justice Department. Here comes Zaslav. JJ's going, oh my God, there goes my deal. And oh, by the way, a lot of the stuff that he wanted to do at Warner Brothers, they're not doing it. Okay? This is where Steven Spielberg's little Padawan has crashed into the molten hot lava and cratered into the magma in the center of the earth. That is telling. And when Zaslav gets in there and is running the show, him and JPEG will be like taking, baseball bats to everything they can find and getting rid of it. The customer comes first, and the investors come first. Look, back in the 30s, there's a political ideology where they put the stakeholders first. A stakeholder is an ideology, and it's fascist. Don't tell Pablo Hidalgo that. But Kennedy isn't a leftist. She's a fascist. Because she put, and Iger put the stakeholders, the LGBTQXYZ, I don't give a fuck community. Black Lives Matters, critical race theory, all these disgusting, vile groups of hate mongers. Okay, put them, with their wants and needs, as the center of what they wanted to do, calling it progress. They put these stakeholders at the forefront. That's a fascist economic model. That's what that guy in Germany did. That's what that guy in Italy did, okay? The guy in Italy also rebranded his socialist party into the fascist party. And there you go, your history lesson for the day. I gotta go. Interesting stuff about Favreau. I'm gonna tell Cameron about that, and Andre and Tom, and Doomcock if he ever listens to me, but I'll see you guys around the galaxy.